This here is not your typical mall crawler. This is probably the king of all mall crawlers. So what we've just done to this 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro is we've installed the 74 Weld portals. These here will let you crawl over all the curbs, get through the grass, just get straight to the front parking spot at all the malls that you'll be able to go through with this, and then go to the trails afterwards. So let's talk about what we've done here. And before we get this on the lift, we're gonna do the bucket challenge. So after the portals are fully installed, we should be able to just drive over a 5-gallon bucket. So we got here our Adams Polishes bucket, and you can see there, obviously we can't clear it. It's hitting basically right in the middle of the C4 skid, and that's about maybe 2 or 3 inches before we can actually clear it. So now that we've done that test, let's go ahead and get this on the lift and start pulling the tires off. So what we have here is the 74 Weld portals, and if you haven't heard of portals by now, this thing is probably the ultimate modification as far as suspension for any vehicle that has IFS front suspension. So basically it's a spindle replacement which has gears in this hub as well. So this does a few things. So one, obviously it provides you with the suspension lift, but this is not like your typical suspension lift. So this is the only kit that will actually give you above axle or actually below axle clearance. So what I mean by that is most lift kits will lift from your axle up, giving you basically the suspension lift, but it doesn't give you any ground clearance lift. That's where the tires come in. However, this being that this is the portal kit will give you the below axle lift. So this here is a standard 5-gallon bucket. This is 15 inches tall, and the lowest point of the vehicle are these lower control arms, and we can clear this here while still having an inch underneath. So we have about 16 inches of ground clearance underneath the lower control arms, and then obviously the skid plates as well, and the rear diff. So this will clear all your lowest hanging fruits. So this is going to provide you with a ridiculous amount of ground clearance for off-road use. And obviously if you wanted to climb all the parking curbs at the mall and the shopping centers, you can still do that as well. It's actually pretty fun. But that's what we have here. So if you're looking to do the ultimate suspension lift, this is going to do it. On top of that, this is also going to give you a gear reduction as well. So this is going to give you 22% gear reduction, and what that means is if you're putting on a lot of weight, large tires, you're going to want to do a re-gear. Normally you do that in your diff, both the front and the rear. That you can, on a 4Runner, you can choose from 456 or 488. Now this being a 22% gear reduction, putting this 3.75 factory diff ratio up to a 4.55 gear reduction. So you're almost at a 488 gear reduction. And that's gonna give you a couple things. One, low end torque and better drivability for both on-road and off-road. Having a lower gear set ratio is gonna just feel better, especially with all this weight, and it's just gonna crawl better, especially in 4 low. So one of the things that we always get hung up on in the rear is gonna be your diff back here. Now this isn't going to be an issue anymore with the portals, because the portals actually relocate the actual axle location, so that way it's way up there now. Same thing, 5-gallon bucket, that's your diff in the back right there, so you can drive over pretty much anything that is 15 inches 16 inches of height. So this 4Runner here, previously we have installed the Bilstein 8112s on here, which is probably the best mid-travel suspension you can get for an OEM fitment. So we had that on here. What we're going to do in the future, we're probably going to reduce all the preload out of it, so that way this will come down, but all the ground clearance will stay. So as far as wheels and tires, we have RRW relation to race wheels here. These are the RG4 in the hybrid wheel version, so that way we could throw these beadlock rings on there. So this is a true beadlock setup with a 37-inch tire. This is a 12.5-inch wide. So the portals actually give us 3.5 inches of track, so we gain 3.5 inches per side, giving us a total of 7 inches wider than the factory setup is. And this is going to do a couple things. It's going to provide you with more stability for the vehicle, especially with the rooftop tent out there. This thing is kind of top heavy, so this is going to help out a lot with that. This is a positive 25 offset, so this is the minimum that 74 Weld would recommend, just because once you go negative, it's just going to get further and further away from it. It's going to reduce drivability, it's going to put more strain on everything, so the positive 25 is a must for this. So this is in the black color with the black beadlock ring as well, and the black bolts. So this tire size here, we had to make a couple adjustments to make it fit without having to do any kind of tubbing back here. And if you don't know what tubbing is, that's just cutting all of this section out here and basically moving it back by welding in a new piece to allow for this full articulation. But with this current setup, we don't have any articulation issues. The upper control arm actually hits the top of the wheel well before the tire does, and it's going to contact the bump stops already before anything like that. So we're not having any issues as far as rub. In the front as well, we did a viper cut. So in the front, this 4Runner has the C4 fabrication low pro bumper. They also had the high clearance additions on the side. However, these 37-inch tires actually contact and bump that, and it's going to be an issue off-road. So what we did, we took that off and we did the most aggressive viper cut we could do while still following that body line. So now we've tested on the forklift as well, so that way it's not contacting the bumper or anywhere inside the wheel. If you guys would like, we can make a whole separate video getting super technical with these portals. This is a very expensive kit. It is $17,000 for this kit, and then an extra $3,000 for installation labor. But if you wanted to run this with factory shocks, you could definitely do so and be able to still run 37-inch tires with that, which is crazy. So if you think about it, getting a suspension lift along with a re-gear job, it's gonna be around that $10,000 price range already, without having to talk about like super expensive shocks or anything like that. So pretty close to that, but you're gonna get way more. But like I said, if you want to see that video, we can make a whole separate video. As you could tell here, this 4Runner has seen plenty of trails and plenty of malls, and all these markings are from shopping carts hitting it, as you can tell. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys have any questions on this build, feel free to give us a call. We will have our number on the screen and in the description as well. So give us a call if you have any questions. We are here in Denver, Colorado. We'll see you guys in another video.